Hello everybody. Yes, I'm still here. It is Sunday the 11th of January. Another puzzle piece on the way of understanding. And this is the bride is making herself ready to receive her husband, right? Or the way of connecting to the true way of connecting to an ascendant master. Because there's works we must do before that connection can work or can even occur. We must make ourselves ready for that connection. Again, what we are receiving knowledge of is another being. It is not the all. It's not the creator of all, forget it. We are in a web of life, of existence. And we are a point in that web, and the points receive of each other, give the knowledge to each other. So what you are going to be connected to will be another being, giving its truth. And you must be ready to receive that truth in the correct way. And that is the bride is making herself ready. And here is the difference between, that's what I want to show you, the difference between truly receiving knowledge of an ascendant master or being possessed. Possession is something that should not happen. No consciousness should take possession, rule over, have dominion over another consciousness. That is the wrong way. I want to show you this here. And therefore the bride needs to be ready to receive correctly. So, I want to start with the story of Jacob and Esau. And also to show you how what we are being taught as the right way is the way into possession. Not a true marriage. So and what we're being taught is completely upside down. What children are being taught is completely upside down. So in the story of Jacob and Esau, Esau is working in the field. He's working hard to provide for his family. While Jacob is running around the house holding on to his mother's apron. So when Esau comes back tired and on a low point of energy, obviously, because he's been working all day, Jacob takes the opportunity to get from Esau his birthright, his inheritance. And here children are being taught that Jacob is the great guy. The opportunistic thief is the great guy, whereas the hardworking guy that works for his family is the lesser being, and he deserves all that he gets. So that is being taught to children as the right way up. But later on, whenever Jacob is to meet his brother again after years of separation, he wrestles with an angel in a place called Peniel. And what is that angel? What is that energy that he is wrestling with? And to my mind, it is guilt. He's wrestling with guilt. He's wrestling. The wrestling is taking part in inside of himself. And he overcomes. He overcomes guilt. Guilt does not win. That angel is trying to bring him a truth. That should serve him. And Jacob wins. He overcomes his own guilt. And again, we are being told that is what we should do. We should wrestle with our low emotions and overcome them, fear and guilt, and not see their truth, because we are being told that is Satan, that is the liar. It is part of our own truth. We are overcoming our own truth, and we're being told to do that, because that will open the door. Once we have overcome our own truth, that will open the door for another truth to come in, and that is possession. And again, Christians and New Agers are being told that is the way. Now, if I look at this world, if I look at the stories, I can see two different kinds of possession. One is the involuntary one, and the other is a voluntary one. Now, the involuntary one is what is described in the Bible as legion, which will manifest itself to the onlooker as insanity. Because the truth is still within you, and it is wrestling with that which wants to take over. And the struggle is there all the time. That is what is manifesting itself as insanity. And it's not much good. You know, the person is no longer functioning in a possessed state, in that possessed state. But then comes the voluntary possession, and that is where the person agrees to subdue his own knowledge and be ruled over by another, to make that other knowledge become his I am, whilst killing himself. That is the way of the cross. That is what Jesus did. In denying himself, in denying, not going by his own knowing, by being obedient to the will of whatever was in heaven, and until he became that. Now, I'm using the word possession, but I keep referring to New Jerusalem as the Borg cube. So maybe the better word to use is assimilation. He was assimilated into that other consciousness. Now, Jesus did that with his eyes open. He was an ascended master. By what he did in this world, you can say he was on a very high level of knowledge. Yeah, he knew what he was doing. He did it voluntarily. Again, children are being groomed to go that way. And there is no free will involved, because a child has not yet formed an I am that could make that decision. But they're being programmed. They're being groomed. It's one thing for Jesus to do it from his level of knowledge and free will. It is another thing to groom children into that when they have no free will. So that is, it is also making the bride ready, but you have a child bride. You have a child. And a child should not enter into a marriage chamber. I hope we're all agreed on that. There should not be child marriages. Those who do that are pedophiles. Yeah? And hopefully we can also agree on that a pedophile that is grooming children is not on a high level of consciousness. And if you look at the outcome, if you look at New Jerusalem with your eyes open to the truth of what is actually happening there, that is not a high level of consciousness. Yeah, that is the way of possession and the grooming of children. Child brides. Now, the true way of making yourself, the way of making yourself ready to meet an ascendant master, not a low-level consciousness, is by becoming an I am. Because if the bride is not ready, if the bride does not understand what it is she's doing, if the bride does not participate willingly from a high level of consciousness herself, whatever happens in that chamber is a rape. The only way there's a true marriage is a meeting of equals. That is the only way. And again, that is how we need to make ourselves ready, by becoming a strong I am. I keep hearing reoccurring phrases, and as I always say, it's a long time before I understand what that phrase actually means. But again, that understanding is another step toward being ready. And the one phrase I keep hearing over and over again is, if you break the law, I cannot help you. And I've been wrestling with that phrase forever. Again, I'm telling you my understanding now, yeah, how I understand it. You do not have to agree with that. Yeah, you might think something else, that's fine. I'm just trying to give my understanding because it might be helpful to somebody. So that this phrase of, if you break the law, I cannot help you, as I understand it now, because I've been wrestling and saying, what law? 10 Commandments, the Hermetic Principles, what is the law I should not break? And the law is the law of I am, your truth, the law of your conscience, your knowledge of good and bad, you knowing what is good for you and what is bad for you. Yeah? Because here comes, again, if a connection occurs when knowledge is being given, a master can only give of knowledge that is truth in himself. Yeah? And it is said in the Aquarian Gospel, we're all different, and what is food for one may be poison to another. Yeah? What is truth for you may not work for another. But a master can only give of his own truth. That's all he can do. So there needs to be discernment at some point in that relationship. And that discernment must be in you. You must know whether that would actually work for you or not. You must judge. And an ascended master would take no offense if you say, this is not working for me. You know, he is given the knowledge in order to serve, but you must be the one that knows whether it would actually serve you. And here again, in this relationship, you need to be a strong I am. You must know yourself. Otherwise, knowledge is being given, and under the false understanding that they are so much greater, theirs is the only truth, theirs is universal truth, we must become according to their truth. Again, that would be a master that would take possession of you, form you. You would be the clay and he would be the one that is forming you through his knowledge. That is not what is intended. Every I am should be the master of its own clay, so to speak. Yeah? That is self-determination. So no master would give that knowledge in order to form you. But just to give you a knowledge that you can either take or leave. And then it's not possession, it's not ruling over. It's given freely and received freely, but you have self-determination, and again, for that you need to be a self for starters. And that is how you make yourself ready, by becoming an I am, by knowing your own law, by being of sound judgment. You have to reach the age of self-knowledge, of sound judgment, and of self-determination. And here is, as a pedophile is obviously not on a high level of consciousness, something that is on a high level of consciousness would obviously not be a rapist. Or in other words, an ascendant master would never touch a woman that is not his equal. They wouldn't. So to even share that knowledge, or share knowledge with them, you have to become their equal. And that is the bride making herself ready by becoming I am. And they would not touch you before that. They will guide you on the way of becoming I am, not telling you what you are, but how you find yourself. And once you have found that, then the connection can occur. And that is the works that we must do. Again, what Christianity is teaching is the exact opposite. It says or what the New Agers are teaching is the exact opposite. Do away with I am. Yeah? Know God by not being yourself, but the obedient servant. And I said that has been taught to children before they even have an I am. They're being programmed. They're being created into the servants. And if there is ever a connection with another consciousness, that is pedophilia. That is rape. That is possession. And that is not a meeting of equals. That is not a true sharing of knowledge on a high level of consciousness. But as I said, in this world, you have true teachers, and you do have those that will groom children, as below, so above. Those consciousnesses do exist that groom children. And New Jerusalem is obviously one of those consciousnesses. They're pedophiles, they're rapists, they're murderers. And the only way to escape that is to become and ascend to a true higher level of consciousness and to enter into a true marriage is by becoming I am. And as I said, no ascendant master would touch a woman that is not his equal. So you must become that first. Right. My thoughts for today. As I said, I'm not like a child in the back seat. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I don't know. I don't know. If there's something else that needs to be understood, I don't know. But this is as far as I got. And hopefully, as I said, it is helpful to somebody who actually wants to go on the spiritual path, that they do not end up in a place of possession, which can happen, and I think it has happened to many. But to truly ascend into a realm where the masters give to each other. And that would be a higher level of consciousness. At the moment, what is being taught as higher level of consciousness is possession. is a child marriage, is rape. Say, the whole thing's been taught completely upside down. And those that teach it, now, there's evil there. There is real evil there. I mean, I'm not saying the pastors or the priests are evil. I think most of them are useful idiots. They don't know what they're doing themselves. But somewhere high up, somebody knows what they're doing. And that is evil. That is pure evil. And the way to turn away from that evil is becoming my own. And then it will be true ascension. Pure human. Taking our part in the cosmos amongst the masters. Anyway, here, I leave it at that for today. Yeah, I'll probably talk to you again soon, I don't know. Hope we're there yet. Anyway, see you. Bye.